from?
I was born in Regla, R-E-G-L-A, Regla, Cuba. That was a small town away from Havana. The only way I could get to Havana was to get a ferry boat from my town, Regla, and my mother and father lived with the family because there was no homes, there was no apartments at that time. You had to live with the families once you got married.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my mother's life. She lived with her mother-in-law, and I believe there were 9 or 10 people living at the house. That's the way it was. I mean, you know, nobody could afford one building. They had to live together.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a very, very loving family. My mother, Mima, wanted to be here in Florida with her family. That she had 10 brothers and sisters, her mother and father. But my grandfather, my mother's father, had all his family here. So Mima wanted to come to Florida to better herself. We came in 1943. And we came in legally. Legally. We did not come in a boat. I came in a plane. And it was during World War II. So when the plane left, the name of the airport was Rancho Boyero. Ranch. It was named Ranch something or other, but Rancho Boyero. We did not want to come. We did not want to come. I cried for my grandmother. In fact, I cried for her today when I saw her pictures. Very loving family, very loving grandmother and grandfather, and I had 7 uncles and 1 aunt. That mother's father was an American citizen. He was born in Florida. So he made his family American citizens. And then when my mother decided to come to Florida, he made my mother American citizen and me and my brother. So we came in legally. We came as American citizens. I'm 79, and I came when I was 6. So that's
Did you go to school in Cuba for a while?
No. No, I started kindergarten here, and I started school here. Yeah.
What school did you go to?
At first I went to Catholic school, St. Joseph. And then my mother and my father couldn't afford it anymore because the jobs were very hard to get here in Tampa. So she had to put us in public school. The population and neighbors were mostly Italians. I was raised in the neighborhood with Italian people. There were more Italians than Cubans here at that time. My brother and I were bullied a lot because we were Cubans. And we found in the school I was in a very good teacher. She was Italian, and she got attached to me and taught me my English. I stayed with her from 1st grade to the 3rd grade so that I would learn how to speak English and how to write it. And that's how I learned my English because my mother forget it, she never learned it. Like I said, even when I went to work at the bakery, it was Italian. Alessi Bakery. That's where I went to work when I was 13 years old to help my mother out. In the 40s and 50s, Tampa, where we lived at the West Tampa, it was very poor. Everybody was having hard times. It was during the war, and there was no jobs. my family, especially my grandmother, my mother's mother, she had to go and stand in line to get stamps to be able to buy flour and rice and beans. They gave you a ration. That's all you had. That's all we had. So we all lived together so we can afford to eat with what they used to give my grandmother and my grandfather. My mother's job was she worked in a cigar factory. She worked in a cigar factory 50 years. My father did not like Florida. He went back to Cuba. I didn't want that for my kids. The hard times, no clothes. We didn't have winter clothes. We didn't have shoes. We didn't have clothes. My poor grandmother in Cuba made us some flannel pajamas. And the first winter here, it was very cold. So my poor mother put the pajamas on us over our clothes. So naturally she sent us to school, and from there what happened. I mean, they started bullying us, saying things about us wearing those pajamas. So there was this Italian girl in school that saw what was happening, and when she went home, she came with a big box of clothes for me and my brother, and coats, so we could, because we didn't even have a sweater. It's not cold in Cuba, so you don't wear nothing like that. Then we went through all of that, but we survived. We survived, and I stayed working in this bakery till I married Papa to 16. Angel was just a year younger than me, so he was up there making his little bucks. Yep. Because Mima couldn't help us. Mima could not give us, me and Angel, nothing. Nothing. My grandmother would feed us. But Mima couldn't do much for me and Angel. So we learned to go to work. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
About the marriage.
Mima never liked my husband. She never got along with him, but he was a very good husband, a very good father. I had with him what I did not have before. By the time my son Manuel was born, 4 years later after we got married, he bought us our first home. And I raised 3 babies in that home. Yeah, he worked hard, he made good money, and everything came to the home. Everything came to the home. My 3 babies did not lack for nothing. There was always milk and butter and eggs and bread on top of that table. Always. He was a very good provider. Very good. He provided everything for the house. I didn't work. I didn't go to work till my son Manuel was 15 years old. And that's when I went to work at the school system. In the kitchen for 35 years. That's from where I retired. From Hillsborough County School.